Hello and Merry Christmas, boys and girls, coming to you all the way from the North Pole in Burbank, California. This is Film versus Film, the podcast, back for season 2. I am your host, Quinn Boys, in charge of the Naughty Nice list, and I'm a film fan who's seen over 12 days of Christmas movies. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and Santa's angriest elf, Leonard Smith Jr.
It's your boy out here making toys, but this year we're making toys for winners. God damn it, we not losing this year. It's our season, baby.
We'll see about that. We are here to talk about our favorite non-Christmas Christmas films. We had kind of trouble defining this prompt, Leonard. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's. We didn't want to go with your typical traditional Christmas movies, A Christmas Story, whatever that black and white old white people movie is.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
White Christmas, which I wasn't even going to test you with that.
Nah, we didn't want to go with your basic movies that we always watch. We're choosing movies that feel like Christmas movies to us. Maybe it has Christmas involved. We think it's a Christmas movie, but traditionally is not thought of as
like
a Christmas
the kind of the genre of Christmas movie, like when people tell you Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And whether you think it is or you think it's not, I feel like the conversation about it is always kind of like, okay, whatever. Like when people are like, they have to convince you Die Hard is a Christmas movie, man. It's not an action movie. It's a Christmas movie. And I'm like, that's fine. If you want to watch it with grandma on December 25th, God bless you. But those are the kind of movies that we're talking about. Not the typical, everyone thinks of them as Christmas movies. We're not going to pick
like,
Elf.
all right, we've exhausted all the Christmas movies. We don't want to watch these shitty-ass Hallmark Christmas movies.
Right.
So what other movies remind us of this Christmas, give us that Christmas feel? And neither one of us chose Die Hard.
No, but that's the vein of what we're thinking of. We both did stay away from Die Hard.
Yes, and we have somebody here to help us with this decision. We got a guest today. One of Santa's, don't call him an elf.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Don't call him an elf.
That is offensive and ableist, and I do not respect it, okay? If I'm an elf at all, I am Will Ferrell in the movie Elf, okay? A grown-ass giant.
The tallest elf ever, Chris Edens. Christopher Edens is here.
What up, what up, what up?
And he's going to help us with this decision.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
No problem.
You very gamely watched 2 non-Christmas Christmas movies for our podcast. Obviously, we'll all be talking about them. Jump in any time, but I'll start off with my pick, which was a movie that I kind of didn't think about until after we'd announced this prompt. But I definitely think it's a Christmas movie. I think you'll have to agree with that it bears itself out. I'm talking about 1992, Tim Burton's Batman Returns, the second Batman movie with Michael Keaton after the big success of the 1989 Batman movie with Jack Nicholson, which kind of kicked off the modern superhero craze a little bit. And so this is the second one, came out 3 years later. It's weirder, it's darker, it's like this weird gothic fairy tale, Tim Burton.
It's basically
fever dream,
Nightmare Before Nightmare Before Christmas came out.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's got the same
Don't
feel.
you fucking dare try to compare that movie to one of the greatest movies of all time.
I'm not comparing it. I'm just saying it.
No, you said it's like and it's not like, okay?
But Tim Burton,
I have that tattoo. The movie tattooed on my body, sir, okay?
Yes.
Batman is not the same thing.
You have Nightmare Before Christmas tattooed on your body?
Yes, I do.
Well,
You don't have to tell me what's the
Jack Skellington.
Oh,
okay. Well, the Nightmare Before Christmas is a...
All
Hold on,
Christopher Nolan movies aren't the same.
Hold on. They are both directed by Tim Burton. They both have a particularly same dark Christmassy, like snowy, weird feel. They're not the same movie. Obviously, one's a goddamn superhero movie, and one's just like a story, children's type story. But it has the same feel as far as like, because A Nightmare Before Christmas, I feel like it's kind of a Christmas movie, but it also doesn't feel like it. It's a weird situation.
You are indisputably right about one thing, which is that this movie came out, Batman Returns, in 1992, and The Nightmare Before Christmas was the following year, 1993. I always think, and this is not to do with what we're talking about today, but just for an excursion, now that I know Chris has Jack Skellington.
It's also not directed by Tim Burton.
It's not directed by Jack. Yeah, it's a Tim Burton production, but it's directed by Henry Selick, so credit where it's due. I
don't give a fuck about that.
I've always considered that more of a Halloween movie because of how it makes me feel. But I'll give this to you because you have Jack
are
Skellington.
correct.
It is
And
okay.
this is the movie that I thought one of you clowns were gonna pick, and I was ready to flame you about it.
But we did.
Because it is not.
Yeah,
Because the whole point is that he's not Christmas, and he needs to stick to his lane.
And
All right,
it's
well,
like we wouldn't want to watch that movie around Christmas. I feel like that's a great bridge between Christmas and Halloween movie, but closer to Halloween. That's how I've always viewed
Okay,
Nightmare.
so
Well,
Thanksgiving movie is actually the truth.
Well, he chose Batman Returns
Yes.
and not Batman Forever. But anyways,
Did someone accidentally watch Batman
I
Forever?
watched.
Wasn't me, Batman.
I watched the first hour and a half of Batman Forever. Then when I saw the Jack-o'-lantern and I saw the kids trick-or-treating, I was like, this... Because the whole time I was like, there's no Christmas in this movie.
That's why
And
I was like, how did you think?
And then I saw the Jack-o'-lantern and the kids, and I was like, oh, fuck. I fucking watched the wrong movie.
You know what? This is so funny because I knew that we were going to have a guest and I was excited to have Chris here. And so I gave Leonard my pick earlier this week. And we were both conscious of like, let's give Chris some time to watch these movies. Let's get our picks in early. Because sometimes if it's just us, Leonard and I will be texting each other on Saturday before we record on a Sunday. But I was like, okay, Batman Returns, lock it in, let's go. And then on like Friday or yesterday, I was like, oh man, I'd hate it if, because there's something like Batman Returns, there's a Superman Returns, there's Batman Forever, there's, and I was like, I'd hate it if someone like got Batman Returns mixed up with Batman and Robin or something. I was like, I should text Leonard and like just make sure he knows. And then I said, no, don't do that. That's condescending and rude. But I could have saved you some time.
Facts. Because I thought you were going to be like, yo, don't watch Batman Begins. Because at least I see how you're going down that lane.
Yeah.
Like Batman Forever. Just
I got confused because when me and Quentin were initially talking about it, we started talking about Tommy Lee Jones and like Billy
true.
D. Williams playing Harvey Dent and then Tommy Lee Jones being casted in it. So that was the last thing on my mind was Harvey Lee Jones and Tommy Lee
Harvey Lee
Jones.
Oswald.
Sorry, he didn't make that blend. Who is who? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh man, God, that movie is fucking awful. And like, I'm sure Tommy Lee Jones like was very excited to jump in to play a different role besides like a cop or a marshal or some shit. Yeah. But it just didn't work. And the script was awful.
Best person in that whole character is Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
I think what happens in that movie, and we are now fully discussing a film that I didn't pick and doesn't have to do with Christmas. Sorry. But I think the best part of that movie is that Jim Carrey, whether he means to or not, pulls Tommy Lee Jones crazier throughout the course of that movie. And by the end of that movie, Batman Forever, they're just both like totally...
Because Tommy Lee Jones is trying to stay on the same page
as
90s Jim Carrey, bro. And it's like, fam, that's not your lane.
I think like
Two-Face is supposed to be who Tommy Lee Jones is in every other movie.
Yeah.
And then a crazy guy.
If he played
just full crazy guy.
If he played Two-Face as a slightly more mean like version of his guy in The Fugitive, it would have been more on brand.
Not even slightly more mean. Yeah. Literally the guy from The Fugitive was an asshole because he said, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. That's how I feel about police.
Both sides were crazy. It was like, this makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
But let's talk about my choice.
It's supposed to be Jekyll and Hyde.
And my choice was...
We haven't even talked about Batman. No, go for it, and we'll get back into it.
Yeah, my choice is Coming to America.
Okay.
Classic. To me, feels like a Christmas film.
Can you guys say the prompt for me one more time?
Yes. Best non-Christmas Christmas movie, or best Christmas film that you don't think about as a Christmas movie, right?
Yes, best movie that
for long.
Isn't necessarily thought of as a Christmas movie that feels like a Christmas movie.
Okay.
And I think I know where Chris is going with this.
You lost already. No. Because his movie, literally in the first 10 minutes, he says, Merry Christmas.
Okay, hold on.
Christmas is never mentioned in Coming to America. One time.
The word Christmas
I was waiting for it the whole time.
The word Christmas is used in the movie.
I just watched it. I was waiting the whole time.
So did I. King Jeffrey Joffrey comes into the barbershop, goddamn, and he's like, oh, you're a little late for the Christmas pageant.
Bruh.
He says that. Those words. But listen, Chris, there's a structure to the podcast. There's a structure to the podcast. There's a structure to the podcast.
Oh, it's a Fantastic Four level reach.
There's calling you Mr. Fantastic, the stretch man.
Yacho's Coming to America starring Eddie Murphy, 1988 film.
Is this the part where I told you I watched the first hour and a half of The Golden Child?
You watched first time in Trading Spaces. Yes, starring Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy,
Arsenio Hall,
Eric Benet, John Williams. It's John Amos. Excuse me, John Amos. It's a about a story about an African prince who is basically forced to marry someone when he turns 21.
Arsenio Hall.
Was that?
It's crazy you didn't say Arsenio Hall.
I did say Arsenio.
No, you did.
Oh,
You did.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, damn, disrespect.
No, I'm not disrespecting Arsenio like that. But he goes to America to find his bride, and he comes, and it's a great story.
Goes
of
to Queens.
a fish out of water, and true love. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I had not seen this movie. Chris, you've seen Batman Returns before, and have you? Or
Yeah, I've seen both of them
You didn't remember which it was. You've seen both of them again. Batman Returns and Forever. I had not seen Coming to America, and I wanted to see it for a while. But so this was a good opportunity for me to finally see it. I do agree with Chris. I kept waiting for like even a tree in the background, but it's a winter in New York movie, which a lot of people associate that with Christmas. It's not Manhattan, which I think people more directly, Miracle on 34th Street, whatever. It's Queens.
Yes.
Because where do you go to find your bride if you are an African prince and you're going to America? You go to Queens.
A woman
I
worthy
needed
of
you
a
to
king.
finish that because I really listened to y'all's podcast and it just blows my fucking mind. The movies you have not seen. Almost as often as Leonard argues incorrectly for movies that are good, saying they're bad, the movies you have not seen go, oh shit, okay, white people really just don't watch black movies.
They don't.
The fact that you have not seen Coming to America actually is mind blowing to me.
See, that's one that I would consider a blind spot. Like that's one that I knew that was like a blind spot because I was like, Coming to America is a movie I've seen referenced, I know what it's about, and I just hadn't seen it. But like, yeah, there's half the movies that last season, like just a quick, like I hadn't seen any of the Friday movies before you gave me Next Friday. I hadn't seen
Major Pain.
Major Pain. I hadn't seen Life. I hadn't even like heard of Major Pain. Like Major Pain was not I didn't know.
Which is crazy. I have like my roommate Brooks, the white guy, like 26. He's like, I love that movie growing up.
The Wayans brothers are so. That's why, because like a Wayans brothers and Eddie Murphy is just like.
So you never seen like Blank Man, Meteor Man?
But by the time,
How the fuck if he hasn't seen Major Pain? My bad.
No. I have never seen Blank Man or Meteor Man. Eddie Murphy to me, and I know this is not that. That's why I didn't grow up like idolizing him in the same way. Eddie Murphy to me, when I was seeing like it's like Haunted Mansion and Dr. Dolittle. Like
How old are you?
That's I was born in 91. So it's like this movie came out 3 years before I was. Yeah, like
I'm born a year after you.
But you're black.
I don't know. What
But still, though, like Eddie Murphy is beyond
But by the time
race.
he was like 10, that means he was 2001, and Eddie was no.
He was
longer.
kinda
It
washed.
Osmosis Jones and shit.
Yeah.
Osmosis Jones is a great movie, so relax. I don't like the tone in which you said Osmosis Jones. Okay,
Okay.
Relax.
You're out here defending the shit out of Osmosis Jones right
That is
now.
a great movie. Bill Murray. Okay,
I've seen
What are you
like
talking about?
of like quote unquote classic, like I've seen like the Beverly Hills Cop, you know, like it. But yeah, no, my Eddie Murphy. I've got a lot of blind spots in my Eddie Murphy viewing.
You hadn't seen Any Given Sunday? Like, I feel like every black person has seen Any Given
That's
Sunday.
also a football thing.
Yeah.
A lot of white dudes play football. So
Yeah.
Any Given Sunday, for sure.
That's whether it's
Where
football,
you from?
New Jersey
Okay, that
suburbs.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
New
You see
Jersey
The Sopranos,
suburbs.
haven't you?
What is happening right now? What is happening right now?
I'm about to come for you later, Leonard. So-
Yes, I already know you are.
I would argue that you already have a little bit. No, and this was one where it was like I wanted to see this movie, and I feel like it's also like you're saying, Chris. Like I don't think it's me being born in the time I was born. Like this movie was on Comedy Central when I was growing up. I just like missed it. I never made a conscious decision not to watch it, but like I was. There were definitely various times in my life where I could have seen this movie and I just hadn't. So I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very funny. I thought you made a great pick. It's a great movie. It's a great Eddie Murphy
I feel like
performance.
So
But I don't know that it's a Christmas movie.
We'll talk about that at the end of the episode.
All right.
Let's go into some of these categories. First category, as always, if you've been watching from last season, is
You're talking about our famous criteria, our foolproof 5-point system. I hope Chris just like machine guns everything that we did in this.
I'm going to.
You wanted to change this before the end of last season. I think you said it on record. That's why I'm putting it back. As of right now, we're keeping in that first criteria.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, my choices, mainstream America is very white, so my pop culture was a very tough thing for me to win throughout the season.
But pop culture, mainstream America is very white, and we love taking black people's culture
Exactly.
and making it pop
So,
culture, which is why I feel like you can argue for things more strongly.
Yes,
I think
just
this is a
that
good example.
I just think that at the beginning of the season, I was choosing the wrong films.
Yeah, you were choosing next Friday instead of Friday, and Friday has all the pop culture.
That's a good point.
But for that prompt, I loved Next Friday. Next Friday was a funnier movie.
Y'all also said something that I strongly disagreed with. Who is Talladega Nights and what was the other one?
Oh, yeah. Talladega Nights is trash.
Talladega Nights and what's the other one?
Don't tell me you like X-Men The Last Stand.
Don't try to defend The Last Stand.
X-Men The Last Stand.
No. That you said Talladega... Didn't you say Talladega Nights was less pop culture relevant than X-Men was?
No.
I think we gave it to Talladega.
That was the most quotable fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
That was a landslide.
We gave it to Talladega. I think we can go back and check, but I think we pulled back slightly because we were saying Talladega, unlike Anchorman, Talladega so badly wanted you to be saying the it felt forced. They were like,
tried to
if you're not first, you're last. Shake and bake. I'm like, you're giving me too many things that I don't want to do.
That movie was one of the DVDs I had growing up before my parents got cable, so I fuck with that movie. Very
I understand.
I said overall, because Leonard picked it as most disappointing. I said it's better than you remember, Leonard, because I had to rewatch it.
And then when I rewatched it,
John C. Reilly is great in that.
Yeah.
Correct.
But okay, my bad. Keep going.
Yeah. Anyways,
this is getting real contentious.
First criteria, pop culture. I think this is a hands and away favorite for Coming to America.
Correct.
I mean, I don't really know.
Fuck you, like all that. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you too. What this dumb fuck?
The barbershop scene.
She's your queen to be.
That
a queen, dude.
I'm jealous of you, actually. That's why I was so shocked.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine how happy I would be if I saw this for the first fucking time.
Yeah.
It was so
It was a very enjoyable. I watched it last night. It was a very enjoyable experience. When the exact specific moment that you're mentioning, what Oha is his name? I think the King's Guard or when he just starts singing this like a cappella riff about like after they do like literally like might be 2 full minutes of like a very intricate African like
fire
dance and kind of like presenting the new bride to be to Prince Hakeem. They have this guy just do like a minute a cappella like She's Your Queen to Be that Chris just sampled pretty effectively, and it's like hilarious.
Every time I have to sing along. I literally have seen this movie a bajillion times. We watch it. I have it on Blu-ray, and I just have to sing along. I can't not sing along. Also, just like, what is that? What you got in there? You hate some activator? Oh, it's like, oh, that's just nothing but some fruits and berries. Oh, that ain't nothing but this ultra perm. Muhammad Ali. If the man was to be called Muhammad Ali.
That whole scene, the spoon, aha, hilarious. Fucking,
what is this, velvet? Bro, there's literally somebody I used to work with that would say, what is this velvet, like every fucking day.
Bro, the rap songs that have ad-libbed, sampled beats from this or fucking taken
the royal penis is clean, your highness.
The royal penis is clean is another one for I was
royal penis is clean, your highness.
I was watching my
and that
roommates.
beat that plays while that is happening is in like 5 songs. That shit is in a Snoop song, bro.
It's a Snoop song. It's a Ludacris song. Like
girls rocking around that R. Kelly one too. That's that. Yo, it's a banger. This
that scene where they, and I know I'm jumping around, but where they are confronted by King Joffrey, played by James Earl Jones, whose voice alone,
the best king,
to
ever exist,
whose voice alone is like pop culture. But
yeah,
he plays the king of an African nation, Zamunda, and he comes up Zamunda. I get this pronunciation right. This country does not exist. But,
don't go here saying Wakaba. It's Wakanda.
Well, I was going to say Eddie Murphy is doing the kind of general all Africa Wakanda voice that everyone in Black Panther does, but he doesn't lean into it as hard. He drops
that will come up and does this hold up.
He's just Eddie Murphy, bro. It's not
He's
even
just Eddie Murphy. But that scene where they corner Semi and they're like, you have to go to the Waldorf Astoria, like we're punishing the Waldorf Astoria, and they're telling him all the punishment. He's like, you have to stay in our suite and you have to let the royal washers give you a shower or something.
He's disgusting.
One of the royal washers is mad famous in that.
It's like, Marcel Barbeau.
What's the reality show she was in?
No,
one of them is Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show.
That's what it is.
Oh, Garcelle Beauvais is a rose bearer who also is, I think, one of the royal washers. There's literally in the beginning of the movie, everywhere Eddie Murphy goes. Really
fine, but she also is in she grew up I think she's a reality star or something like that. Like she was married to someone.
Garcelle, Stephanie Simon, and the third person just has one name. Do you know what that one name is?
What is it?
Feather.
That's hilarious.
But everywhere Eddie Murphy goes in the early scene, because he's a pampered prince, he doesn't wipe his own ass. He doesn't clean his own penis. Everywhere he walks, there are 3 beautiful women showering rose petals in front of him so that he never doesn't walk on rose petals, which I thought was a really nice touch. The early Africa parts are like, the production is very big. Yeah, that first shot where you like go through the forest to come out at the
and then
the
it
castle.
looks like a painting in the background, but then you see the people on the bottom moving. That
It's
shit
impressive,
is so
yeah.
dope. If anybody throws flowers at my son's feet, they will be dealt with me personally. Okay, so
I think
we don't even talk about. There's nothing to talk about as far as Batman.
Coming to
and
America watched that one.
It's a win, absolutely. I'm not going to argue with you. Can I put my the pop culture imprint, for whatever you want to call it, like Danny DeVito as the Penguin, I would say has informed a lot of his later career work. Like literally,
it's the same thing as
he just is the Penguin on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
That's
Always
what
Sunny,
we
it's
were
the same
saying
thing.
last night. Like,
Yeah.
it's
a proto-
I can't watch this without thinking of It's Always Sunny.
Literally, like him eating a raw fish and having like
green
the
shit coming
entrails.
out of his-
That's
wait,
like Frank.
wait. Why are you not fighting for the Catwoman costume, bro?
That was my
That's
second one.
heat.
That was my second one. Michelle Pfeiffer
In the Catwoman
in
costume.
Batman Returns is throwing 100 miles an hour fastballs. The whole
Bro.
movie, she's great at overall, but the Catwoman costume, her like that I think people that don't know who's playing which Batman, which movie, whatever, you're watching Batman Forever. Like you know when you like the one where Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman, people are like, yes, I know that.
Bro, that scene when she fucking creates the suit and the dope ass neon sign that says like hello there, and then she smashes it and she's breaking shit and it's like hell here and
Yeah.
she's like in that. Dude, all the shots in that fucking movie were so good.
It's a
Tim Burton
very
elite.
well directed movie. It's better than I remembered even when I suggested.
Tim Burton is elite. My thing that I'm remembering as I go back and see this is like, damn, they really were like, this shit is a cartoon. Like, because the fights are so hammy, the puns are crazy. Michelle Pfeiffer, while I believed everything she did and she did a good performance and she was hot, is fucking insane.
Yeah.
She is jealous of her cat going out and getting laid. Do you remember that? She walked in the house before that happened. When she goes to Murder and goes, "Oh, what are you out having a good time again?" I wouldn't know anything about that. And I almost vomited.
She's a cat lady. She's a crazy cat lady.
Eccentric and so like borderline nuts. And he gets so much out of them, and they just like take it to another level. And it's just like, I feel like Michael Keaton was trash though as Bruce Wayne comparatively to everyone else.
Everybody else seems to know what movie they're in, and Michael Keaton, who I like, he's not my favorite
I
Batman,
think
but
it's just literally he was playing straight to
Yeah.
a bonkers house, bro.
Yeah.
You have
Even as
Christopher
Bruce
Walken
Wayne, he
playing
felt
the
weird.
human being, bro.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken is the human being crazy guy. He's
Just
the
the-
base bad guy.
the storyline of this
Christopher
fucking
Walken.
movie.
scariest
is
motherfucker who's ever
wild.
been named Shrek.
This is what's that?
Christopher Walken is playing a character named Shrek in this movie.
It's
And he
absurd.
thinks that he can get some sewer baby penguin man to become
Which, listen, I would say
Max
that
Shrek.
too holds up. It's not about the Christmas part of this movie. We should just say throughout this movie, it's
it's
nighttime, it's Christmas in Gotham. It kind of looks like Manhattan. There's ornaments in window, in storefronts, and there's a big Christmas tree. And at one point, Bruce Wayne says, "Merry Christmas,
I
Alfred."
wholeheartedly agree with this. Max Shrek.
These
opens
are
up the movie
all
saying,
these are all facts. There's a Christmas tree in the background.
It's way more. Of
There's
a
also
Christmas
like
movie.
circus freaks and goddamn.
Well, but
Even
it's
in
gloomy all the time and dirty.
Max
and,
pulls, diaper Danny DeVito. He's not in diaper. He's in like a full body suit.
Dude, that thing. Oh,
it's
he's
not
in
flattering.
His pajamas
It
the whole
has to
time.
smell so bad.
He pulls him out of the sewer, almost literally pulls him out of the sewer, and decides I can't. I'm a businessman. I'm trying to steal power from the city of Gotham. Who cares? I can't work with this mayor.
All right,
We're gonna get Penguin.
this kind of falls under how does it hold up?
Okay, all right. If
So
you're gonna
it
talk
does
about
kind
it,
of hold up like maniacal fucking powerful man thinking
So-
that he can get away with.
so we're transitioning into the second point now. Sorry, we're just for scorekeeping. We are awarding pop culture, of course, to Coming to America, and we're moving on.
And the scene where he reveals the penguin Cobblepot to his fucking
His employees.
to the
office?
No, to the
The city at the
not to the city, but to his future workers for his
the
mayoral
employees.
campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
employees.
Oh my god! And them just being like, everything's okay, we're good. He's like eating a fucking fish and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Like
disgusting.
that was just like some this is the most white people shit I've ever seen. Them just like pretending like, oh, this isn't what it is. We're gonna act like everything's good. They're paying us enough. Let's all act like this is gonna work. And I was just like, This is wild, and that held
That's
up very
politics,
well.
baby.
That's politics.
I was gonna say what holds up in this is the acting. I know this is y'all's thing, but as in here,
No,
Danny
give it to us.
DeVito is the beginning thing where he gives his like spiel about like, oh,
Yes.
I got played like this ridiculous. It's like, oh, Danny DeVito can body shit. Like
Yeah,
that's
his
that's
character
it.
actually had depth.
This
and
was the role.
drive
Danny,
and
you
real-
could not have cast anyone else's Penguin than Danny DeVito at this time. Like
Yes.
he bodies it because he embodies it. Like you feel like there's a lot of
He's as a comic nerd, he's a little too creature-ish.
yes.
Like,
they
we just
they
gonna
changed
let
the
that
character
slide.
significantly for the
'Cause-
movie, but
Yeah, it was
He's
kind
supposed
of
to
kind
be-
of gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. He was always leaking things. He was, as we said, Always Sunny character. Because, like, he's always leaking something. He's, like, just sitting down there stinking. Because the
And-
Cobblepot in the comics is, like, a mobster.
he's just a short, squat human guy.
Going from Batman Forever to Batman Returns was like night and goddamn day. The characters have no depth. They make no sense. They have no real drive.
Well,
But
that's
this
'cause
was
Batman
like,
Forever-
Damn, this is like a real ass movie. These characters have real
Yeah.
actual issues
Batman
and like
Forever.
thoughts and feelings.
Batman Forever is like a bad improv scene. It's like I don't know what to do. Everyone be crazy, and like Batman Returns is like everyone's crazy, but all towards the same. Like they're all crazy in line with the way the movie is.
Yeah,
like
it's
the way Gotham
that one
looks,
felt
the
like
way
a darker, grittier,
Yeah.
like black and white comic, and the other one just feels like some comic you buy at the grocery store.
Batman Forever feels like the people who bullied kids who read comics retelling what comics are about. And Batman Returns is an actual comic.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
are
nice.
things heightened? Yes, but it's still like I can see something like this
All
happening.
right, so as far as holding
Please.
things up, there was nothing really controversial or like
I would say
bad about.
running an insane. Like I'm not trying to make this a political podcast, but I'm just saying like running an insane candidate for mayor when like everyone is like, what, this guy, and then they're just like, he's an
Well, there's
alternative to
already
business as
another
usual.
mayor and the election has already happened.
I'm just saying it had echoes of the last few years, and
Yes.
I actually found
Do
that
we want to be thinking
weirdly
about
was
that on
reinforced.
Christmas? I don't know.
No,
Let me talk about Coming to America.
You not gonna talk about the fact that he threw a shorty out the window? Like,
Yeah, I
what?
mean that was very
Like,
funny.
Well, that-
that's pretty.
That
that's part
doesn't
of the story.
that doesn't hold up, but that wasn't like a thing that everyone was like, that's fine. Then like this guy
That was
is
supposed
just
to be
the
bad.
villain.
I'm just saying, it just blew my mind. I was like, damn, you
As far as holding up and Coming to America, thankfully Eddie Murphy doesn't like lean very heavy into like a very African accent, which I appreciated and still do. And because he could have, and they would have been like, okay, Eddie, but he didn't. I don't know if it was because it was going to be consistent or like he was like confident in it, but I feel like the only thing as far as like not holding up is the scene where Arsenio dresses up, but I don't think he's supposed to be dressing up as like a man. I think he's legitimately just supposed to be like an ugly woman because
He's
the credits,
credited as extremely
he's an
ugly.
extremely ugly woman. So it's like it
That
just felt kind of weird, but like
yeah.
I think they were just trying to get a rise out of Eddie, like it was just like, all right, we're gonna make Arsenio.
You're talking about the montage scene where Eddie first gets to New York and he's at a nightclub and he's seeing all these prospective,
that montage is so great.
women
I
that he
was
could
once-
meet.
And I just other girls just want to touch my breast.
I was once
Joan
Joan of Arc in a
another
past
life.
life.
Her doing that while holding the candle under her paw is so funny. I don't know why, like the fire thing. It's just like also physically hurting herself.
That's a great history joke, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Joan of Arc got burned
Because
at the
Joan of
stake.
Arc was burned,
Joan of
yeah.
Arc in the- But
Both the writing in both
I
these films are
Worship the
very
Devil?
good. They're both very funny. Like the
Yeah.
clips that Michelle Pfeiffer delivers and
nah,
Batman,
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
You don't like them?
They are not good clips.
I like them.
They're
There's some. I was groaning
Some
at
of
a
them were
few
wild,
of the like where they're at the dance party before the final fight, and then Bruce Wayne is like, oh shoot, I'm
are
sorry.
you
He's
trying
like,
to act like there
he's like,
aren't-
it's so hard to leave or something like that, and then they're like dancing close to each other, and she goes, I think it's semi hard. I was like, this is a
Are
gross
you guys?
joke.
Are you
I don't
guys
want to
sure
think
there
about
aren't
that.
People
in a
that
Christmas
aren't
movie.
like this though. There are people. We all know someone who's like.
Well,
that
sure.
character. So I mean,
I'm just saying a couple of lines. And there's literally a scene, and I love how bonkers this movie can be, but like there's that scene where Catwoman visits Penguin and she's trying to eat his canary.
Yes,
And then
that
he's
shit.
trying to kill her
Yeah,
cat.
that
And then
shit
that
did
scene
not
is
hold
crazy
up.
enough.
That
Okay.
shit
Then
was
she spits
very
the canary out and he like takes the knife away from the cat. But then the scene literally ends with her like on bed and he's like literally rolling. I'm not using the wrong edge. He like kind of rolls next to her and she's like, I'm going to give myself a bath. And she just starts
Starts-
licking her costume.
this shit was wild.
And I'm like, he thinks they Tim Burton literally told him, like, you are a cat, like, which isn't exactly how Catwoman is, but that's fine.
I don't think what doesn't hold up is the fight scenes in that movie.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
trash.
Well, this was early
They're
Batman.
so
Hot
bad.
garbage. 'Cause
That's
he
what I'm
had-
saying.
There's
Couldn't
this
move
man
the neck.
who played Batman, and
Yeah.
he was doing this shit all the time. It's like, pow, pow. It was
And
just
then-
a step above.
Which, in fairness,
fucking-
that's through Batman Begins. Even in Batman Begins, Christian Bale had the same issue. Is like you can't move the neck. So every Batman movement of the upper body, you have to move like your whole torso,
yeah.
and it's like it doesn't look convincing at all in the fight scenes.
The choreographed fights were bad. Also, the fact that like they never explained the fact that they can just unlock Batman's like security system and put a bomb under there. That
It's
just
just a little
that just came out of nowhere.
Batman is also the best, worst detective ever. Not
Also-
a hot take. It's a fact, bro. Like, think about how many times he gets his ass beat off just pure hubris.
All right. Hold on. who is holds up a wash or
I'm gonna give it to Chris because I think it's pretty. I mean, we've gotten on Batman a little bit. I'm trying to think of what I could potentially throw on.
That's
I'd
what I
actually
was-
say
I was
like
saying.
some of the sexual politics of Coming to America actually hold up better than I would have thought for an Eddie Murphy '80s movie.
yes?
Like he,
But
the
even though
whole
her
thing of
character was
like
still
I
a
don't
little
want.
one-dimensional.
That's what my question is.
Lisa McDowell's
what is
character is
holds
so-
up?
If you were to watch this with someone who hadn't seen either, what do you think you would have to be like
PC or
explaining?
entertainment wise, like what?
Both.
I think both,
Both.
but I think we generally think PC. Like if there was a moment where like, and I'm not actually saying this is because I don't think the reverse is nearly as bad. But it's like I didn't like Eddie Murphy playing Saul, the old Jewish man in the barbershop. Theoretically, you could be like, does that hold up? Would Eddie Murphy do that to whatever?
I think people
Like,
accepted it because it was so good.
I genuinely wouldn't have. I mean, I knew because I knew
A lot
ahead
of
of
people
time.
didn't
but
know
like,
it was him.
A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people didn't know it was him.
I don't know. I think I land on the side of thing. Well, this is a whole side thing for me personally. If you land it and it's actually funny and it's not just being shitty to be shitty,
Yeah.
then it's funny.
I agree with
And
that.
I think everything in here is not shitty to be shitty. It all serves a purpose and it fills out that world of that thing. So it's like whatever it is. What's her name? A little ditzy, yeah, but she still also like wanted stuff. You know what I mean? She didn't just go as a full.
Are you talking about Lisa or the little
Lisa?
sister?
I'm talking about Lisa.
Because the little
The
sister,
little sister-
is not the best character.
Tell me you don't know shorties like that though.
Yeah, I know.
So like it's like
Yeah, and the movie
it's
doesn't
like-
really shame her necessarily. Like she is
doesn't.
doesn't shame
materialistic because she thinks Semi is the prince and
Her
she's like
dad's
all
a
over
piece
him.
of shit,
But like,
but their dudes were like that too.
But also, a first generation Black Republican nigga act like that, bro. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Like, he's like, oh, it's not McDonald's, it's McDonald's.
how do
But
they
see,
not
how
get
many
sued?
bootleg DVDs
How
I've
did
been
this
sold?
movie not get sued by McDonald's?
Yeah.
Even though the movie acknowledges that it's a McDonald's ripoff, I'm surprised they didn't get sued by
I
McDonald's.
am 100% confident that whole scene where he was like, they have the golden arches, we have the golden things, is exactly what the lawyers
lawyers told
you
them.
have to say this shit so that we don't get sued for these fucking things.
I think you're probably
Like,
right.
that's like-
But I mean, if I always thought I was like, man, I can't even be mad at McDonald's. This nigga grew up through the goddamn civil rights and shit. Like this nigga was born in like 1930, 1940, because it's 1988. You do you, black man.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, so,
All right, so which one holds up? Is it
So
a
Chris,
wash?
Coming
or-
to America.
holds up better.
Than Batman, because if you're gonna, because the PC thing is wash, they're both equally not that problematic. So you have to go to which one. Like, if I'm showing this to a new person, I think
Yeah.
they're gonna come away from Coming to America and be like, okay, this feels
Also,
like
the
a
penguin
movie
was
I could
also
watch
very
right now.
creepy.
The what?
Penguin was very creepy.
Yeah. Because towards the end, like I don't know if Danny DeVito starts being more penguin later, but like every movement he's making like wah, wah, like penguin squawk sounds
Yeah,
when he
I think
walks.
he told him
which
to
is
become
like
more like
they
that.
Maybe he
literally are
starts
like,
to fall
But he also
apart
was
at
like
the end.
trying
yeah.
to
The
like,
third act is the
have
weakest.
sex with all the women and shit and
Bro,
stuff. But-
this is why it loses. Thank you for reminding me. She was like, "You're the best mayor anyone could have," and he says, "You're the youngest."
Yes,
Hottest. And
exactly.
then Trina
That
just
felt
fondles
so
her
un-
titty, and I was like, I have never felt more uncomfortable in
It
my
felt so
fucking life.
uncomfortable. That's what I was
Then
talking about.
Danny
Him being
DeVito with
creepy.
his
I wasn't
penguin
talking
hand
about him doing
going,
penguin shit. I was talking about him being actually creepy.
And I
Or
was
biting
like,
that guy's the blood spurt. I
Yeah.
remembered that when I was a kid, and this isn't about holds up. It's just about fucking gross. But when they're trying to like make him a mayor, even though he's the least fit person of all time to be mayor. And the guy's like, you probably don't see much. There's not a lot of reflective surfaces down in the sewer, right? He's like a Dave Chappelle white person character where he's like, no, there's not a lot. And so he like everyone's laughing at Danny DeVito's penguin for being ugly and never looking after himself. And then he goes, at least I don't have blood gushing out of my nose. And the guy's like, what? I don't understand that. Turns around, bites him in the nose. And the image of the blood, I mean, it's obviously a prosthetic, but for the shot. But the image of the blood squirting out the side, as a kid, I remember watching that and being like, "Whoa!" Like that's
And then
much
the blood
grosser
just
than
running down
anything
his
else in that
chin,
movie.
The hole for the rest of the
Yeah.
scene. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh.
I'll
So gross.
say I agree with that. Coming to America holds up well because if anything, as we've learned in the last like 5 or so years, it's that the Danny DeVito Penguin character would win. Even after Batman has exposed them as a liar and a fraud, Gotham would still vote him in because who gives a fuck?
And here's a little tidbit that I will say that holds up. Those penguins, man. They must have had like people in the penguins.
Yeah,
they
those
look
are not
dope.
real. Those are not real penguins.
I know.
don't think.
I know they're not real penguins. That's what I'm
some
saying.
of them
They
might have
look
been.
very. It looks very good
Some
for
of those
like.
penguins are real penguins.
Some of them from farther away, but like at the end where there's that procession
Yes,
of
the little
penguins
peng-
as he's
that's
like
what I'm
sliding
talking
into the
about.
water. Those are,
I know, but it looks
The
better
rocket
than like.
penguins?
I feel like it looks better than like what they could have done if they were trying to like let's do CGI. It looked better than Green Lantern. Okay, I'll say
All
that.
right.
Anyways,
This man's
so
still scarred, bro. Let the pain go. Bro.
if you are an avid listener, this is the moment where we talk about a certain black man,
Gang, gang.
but he's been retired. I would have won.
in this movie.
I know. It was like, let's get rid of Samuel L.
Leonard would
Jackson.
be running away with it
seen-
right now. He's already got the first two. I had to play zone defense and just block it out. So we are no longer, what Leonard is getting at, we are no longer, our third criteria is no longer was Samuel L. Jackson in this film.
And he was in this
That has
film,
been retired.
in my film.
Unfortunately for Leonard, because he holds up a McDowell's.
Leonard was
And
literally
the
about to
Prince
do
of King beats that
a
ass.
highlight dunk on that one.
Because he's so, what mother? Yo, he was so good. Anyways, it literally is his first ever role. And
Is it really?
Yes, that's his first
Yeah.
ever role.
That's
He's coming
wild
to
because he's
America.
already like, not middle-aged, but he's not like a young man, really.
He didn't pop it.
Yeah.
He had to grow into his caricature.
I like to think that ass whipping by Eddie Murphy, young Prince Eddie Murphy, is like, I'm never going to play a character who gets disrespected like this again. I'm going to be handing out the ass whippings going
But-
forward.
Next thing, Drew.
So there's no more Samuel L. Jackson, so we had to replace him. And who else has been in every goddamn film?
Yeah, we're thinking of 90s and 2000s, those decades, kind of chameleonic character actors or stars who can blend into certain movies, show up in different places. And we landed on someone quite different than Samuel L. Jackson, the old man. We landed on
Gary L. Oldman.
Okay, stop saying any more words, Leonard. Because when they were asking this question, and I was here,
Why you gotta call
and
me
they
out?
were like,
please, keep
who
going.
we do for the next season? I said with the quickness, Gary Oldman, because you heard all the things they just said to describe it, right, guys?
Yeah.
A chameleon in a bunch of movies, talented guy. In a wide oeuvre of types of movies. And I said, Gary Oldman, and Leonard said, I don't know who that is. And not 5 minutes later, this motherfucker goes, who's the guy in Fifth Element? I'm going to let y'all at home Google who's in Fifth Element and see who he's talking about.
I said the dude has been in all the movies, and he was in Fifth Element, and I couldn't think of any other movies, but like he always be playing them characters, and he be different. You don't even know he be in a movie sometimes. Yeah, it's Gary Oldman. Hey man, listen.
Sirius Black.
Thank you, bro.
So
So
yes.
he will be our new Samuel L. Jackson, despite being very different than Samuel L. Jackson.
Very different.
We'll see if he pops up in any movies. You can get like free, points to tip the arguments in our favor. Going
Gary
forward in
Oldman
season
was
2.
not in either one of these films.
He was not. He's in other Batman movies,
I
but he's
feel
not. in this.
yes, I feel like he would fit very well in Batman Returns.
Could have been Commissioner Gordon.
I feel like he could have. Oh, the police in the Batman Returns were so trash. They were like never there. It just like they were non-existent. Anyways,
Surely you
Batman
would have.
Returns police were Detroit police, bro. I felt so shaded. And I was like, this is disrespectful.
There's a scene, and not to do with police specifically, but there's a scene where Catwoman and Batman are fighting, and she's like, the laws don't apply to us. And then Batman goes, that's where you're wrong. And it's like, dude, you break the law every time you go out. Like, just because the police like you, it doesn't mean that you're like vigilanteism is state sanctioned. I don't understand. But yes, the
Why
police
did
not a big
she-
fat presence.
do so many flips.
She's just
the
showing
backflips,
up.
that shit was wild.
Exhausting. I was like, are you not vomiting everywhere?
Okay, so who do you see? Who do you see Gary Oldman playing in either one of these films?
Well, in Coming to America, he doesn't have much to choose from.
He's the old
Jewish
Jewish
man.
guy.
He's
He's
the
the
old
old
Jewish
Saul
man.
man.
Actually, I'm sorry.
No, I don't have anything.
I think he would be very funny
I-
as Randy Watson.
Which one is Randy Watson?
Sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate.
I was gonna say the landlord.
Oh, the
I was
landlord.
gonna say he's great for the landlord.
Yo, he would actually be very. You know you conscious. Don't be pulling that falling down. Don't be pulling that falling down the stairs shit on me.
Come on, bro.
You better have your rent. I know you conscious. Okay, I can see that. As in Batman Returns, I see him as Shrek.
You could, yeah. I mean, it's hard
would
to
be.
anyone other than Christopher Walken, but yeah, I think like
He would be Shrek in that.
he could have been Shrek. I mean, he could have been a very different, not
Penguin.
live in the sewer version of the comic book character of
Yes.
Penguin, maybe. But
He could've
like
been a very good penguin.
Gary Oldman is his own brand of weird. He doesn't totally strike me as Tim Burton weird. So yeah, I think he could have been any of those people. But like,
I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called True Romance.
Oh, yeah.
In which Gary Oldman
Oh, God,
plays
yeah.
a white man who is a Rastafarian. He's not white. He is a Rastafarian who is Gary Oldman.
and he's got like
with
one
the
milky
dread
eye.
wig, one milky eye.
Yeah.
And he speaks with the accent. I was like, Gary Oldman, I saw Leon the Professional before I saw this, so I'm not gonna get mad. I'm gonna let you have this one. But it's the craziest shit I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah,
If
that-
he can do that.
we should see if that whole movie holds up. I'm also thinking of the Christopher Walken scene in that movie, but where never mind. So that's a wash. Gary Oldman is not in either of these
All right,
films.
so
I
it's a
don't think we
wash.
have a stronger argument. So we're moving on to criteria number 4.
Statistics. Stats.
Did you have anything specific you want to focus on, Leonard? I have Rotten Tomatoes in front of me.
Let's those box office numbers. Coming to America did very well. Surprisingly, I was surprised. Honestly,
You're downplaying Eddie Murphy's gangster.
I know he was the fucking goat at the time. They spent, which I thought was crazy. They spent fucking $85 million. The budget for that movie was $85 million
For Coming to America?
For Coming to America. It
That's
might be
wild to me. That must have mostly been the Africa scenes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because like in Queen, they're just shooting in like on Queens Boulevard or something. It doesn't. I know it's expensive to shoot in New
You
York,
have to
but
pay, all those people were popping at that time. James Earl Jones is not a cheap ticket. You gotta. All those uniforms were not easy uniforms.
It
Those
was
Those
nominated-
outfits were crazy.
clearly
I
they were
think,
cutting
like,
costs. They
is-
had Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy playing half the cast. That's
True, but that's just an Eddie.
They probably
thing.
got
no,
paid.
I know.
Yeah.
And actually, for pop culture, which we've already awarded, I would say, is this the first movie that Eddie Murphy just plays a ton of characters? Because he does that for like the rest of his career at different times. Talking about Norbit. But like, if this is the first movie where he
I think
plays,
this is the first Eddie Murphy movie. So
I
think
call it-
is-
Oh,
Clumsing
excuse me.
it
Sorry,
up.
sorry. The budget is $36 million.
Oh, that makes
but
much more sense.
In inflation dollars right now, if it were made in $36 million is like $85 million today.
well, this came out. Coming to America came out in '88. Batman Returns came out in '92. I know the dollar is not exactly the same in those years, but let's just say, for the sake of it, we can just probably use the numbers as they were back then and
Yes.
compare them more or less equally. 36 million to make how much?
and it made 200. It says 289 to $350 million
That's worldwide.
in fucking sane. Yes.
disgusting.
Yeah. And that is like, the Batman movies are obviously trading off of the Batman IP. Michael Keaton is a star, I guess, but he's not opening huge movies by himself. It's because it's Batman. And the Coming to America it's Eddie Murphy.
The worldwide gross was $350 million.
For Coming to America?
Yes.
Off $36 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is fucking wild.
That's gross.
Batman Returns, I've got here. I'm actually looking up how much it made. But I would imagine the first Batman was a huge sensation. I think this one did slightly less.
$82 million.
You got it?
How much?
$282 million.
That's how much it made?
$282 million off
That's
a budget
still a lot
of
money. It
off a
probably
budget
has a
of
larger-
65 to 80 million
$65
dollars.
Wow.
Tim Burton, I don't think people realize how much of a hot streak he was on at this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Beetlejuice.
Edward
It was
Scissorhands.
before this, Edward Scissorhands. Like he was just throwing heaters down the fucking middle.
Yeah.
So people are like, sure, why not?
And this is
Maybe
not
that-
like
We'll give you all the money.
this is a movie about a Danny DeVito in like a full body diaper riding around in a duck. Like this is not like it's a blockbuster because it's Batman, but it is not your typical like Superman. Like everybody go see this movie. It's for everybody. Like these movies are weird in a way that big blockbusters didn't always get the chance to be.
Okay. Damn, I'm feeling like
Well, do you want to?
I feel like Coming to America might be running away with this one.
What's this one again?
Stats.
So
Oh
box
wait,
office,
let's look at the ratings.
critics,
We haven't
yeah.
looked at Rotten Tomatoes and
Rotten Tomatoes has an 80% approval rating from critics.
for Batman Returns.
Sorry, yes, Batman Returns, and then I'm looking at Coming to America, and it is 65%.
Yeah, which is fuck
That
white
is-
people.
Yeah, that's racism.
Y'all white people out
That's
here. are
racism
real
at
trash,
its
bro.
finest
That's some
if I've
bullshit.
ever heard it. That is crazy. Look, I love Tim Burton more than the average black man, but that movie being an 80% and Coming to America at 65% is most of what's wrong with America.
Which is crazy because I want to say it's like nostalgia and shit, like why people probably
No.
feel that way. But
Also, this is gonna be my counter to why stats had to be Batman is that it's Batman, nigga. Like you got automatic.
yeah,
You got so many points, and this is the first superhero movie. This movie, like, there's no superhero movie.
and the
to
fact
what
that
we
it
think
did
they are now,
290
besides
million
this.
is still pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of torn on this one too, because on the one hand, it's a superhero movie versus an Eddie Murphy comedy, which are two very different things.
Which
and you
Eddie
judge them
Murphy
different.
in 1988 was the hottest ticket.
And on the other hand, it's like comedy versus a drama, an action movie, whatever you want to call it. And I do feel like the 65% is a low Rotten Tomatoes score for what I would think Coming to America deserves. But I will say it's a moment in time, right? Most of these reviews are from when the movie came out. And comedy's never, like, when's the last time any comedy was like 100% of people say this comedy is great? Like, I feel like comedies always
every
go in like the
little white
60s to
comedy
70s.
40-year-old
drops right
virgin.
now. Yeah, what's the
Superbad.
book one? No, Superbad's great. The,
I'm just saying that. I'm trying to say good because people are like it's 100%.
I'm definitely sympathetic to
All
the
right.
argument. I'm just saying
Okay.
I'm trying to help
We'll
the point,
give
I guess, in that I think comedies always
Batman
get.
stats.
Oh, okay. I was trying to help your argument, but I will take it because I need it.
We'll give Batman stats.
yeah,
Chris, do you have a strong objection to that?
no, I agree with that.
All right.
I think
All right, and now the final criteria. It's the final countdown.
Da 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 da
All right.
Another word.
We have to clear that
Which
song. I
one
think.
of these movies is more of a Christmas movie?
Yeah. Why is this a Christmas movie? I feel like my argument has been made for me throughout. Why is it a Christmas movie? Because it's set in late December during Christmas
Drop your mic.
time.
You don't gotta argue this fool. You won
I'm
this
going
already.
to quote Quinn.
Drop your
I'm going
mic.
to quote Quinn.
Quinn, drop your mic on this
If you're
fool,
listening to the
bro.
podcast, if you don't believe me, just go back about 2.5 minutes. And Quinn said, this movie is very weird and not very family friendly. He didn't say family friendly, but he said it's something's very weird and something that families don't want to watch. Do you want to watch
He didn't say that.
Danny DeVito grope an underage girl on Christmas Day? Do you want to watch
You don't have to
Danny
watch it on Christmas
DeVito
Day.
leaking fucking fluids and biting people on the nose on Christmas Day? Do you want to see Christopher Walken push a woman out of a fucking window to fall 15 stories on Christmas Day? This movie is goddamn black the whole time. This movie is great for Christmas because your Christmas tree is going to be lit up because the goddamn screen is dark. The screen is dark the whole time. Okay? It is creepy. Niggas in the sewer. He's a sewer baby. His family abandons him and then they die.
Are you done?
These clowns jump out of a fucking Christmas tree. They're all creepy and shit. Look, man, you're in goddamn New York City. When you think of New York City, snow on the ground, you think of Rockefeller Center. You think of Christmas.
This movie's not set in Rockefeller Center.
I'm
It's
not.
set in Queens.
I'm saying you think of these things. This is all I'm going to say. Obviously, Batman Returns has a Christmas tree in it, and there's a Christmas gift. But literally, the beginning and the end, they talk about Christmas. No other time do they talk about Christmas. It has no Christmas feel to it whatsoever. Coming to America may not have a Christmas tree in it. They only say the word Christmas one time. But it's obviously wintertime. It's basketball season. You think of basketball, you think of Christmas. All I'm saying is, when it comes to feel, Coming to America feels like a Christmas movie to me. It's about like finding true love, like finding happiness. It's like lighthearted family, like your father realizing that he should love his daughter, father like loving his son. It has a Christmas feel to me. The only thing that's bad about it is as far as like if I were like to watch it with my family on Christmas Day is the titties at the beginning. You know, if you're watching it on VH1, it's on right now, literally tonight on VH1. They'll cut the titties out. You can watch this with the family. It feels like Christmas. Everybody's happy. Everybody's laughing. It's good times. You don't want to... I'll tell you what Christmas movie.
You are filibustering, sir.
Batman Returns is a Christmas movie for people who don't have families and are like sad.
Well, those people don't deserve a Christmas movie, Leonard.
I'm saying.
Listen,
I'm saying that's what it is.
I think Chris needs to weigh in here, and I'm not going to rebut what that long string because I wasn't able to get all that written down. But I'm going to say that I agree. Like maybe like Finding True Love, some of those things that you might attribute to a Christmas movie are in Coming to America. I think Batman Returns is kind of true to the spirit of the prompt. As we were talking about Christmas movies. But not really. We're talking about movies like what's the Die Hard thing, right? You can watch Die Hard.
Get that man
In January. You can watch it in April. You can watch it in October. You can watch it in Christmas. If you watch it in Christmas, it's because you're like, I like the fact that they put a Christmas tree in the background. Like that's kind of the point. Batman, absolutely. If you're just watching all the Batman movies over the summer with your friends, you slip on Batman Returns, you'd be like, oh, it's set during Christmas. That doesn't matter because it's not really a Christmas movie. But if you watch it during Christmas, that's that connected. It is set during Christmas.
Okay.
It does have a little bit of that Christmas. Enough. It's a Batman movie.
I'm gonna
but
ask
it's got
Chris
just
this,
enough of that
But
Christmas.
is Coming to America one of the movies that you always watch around Christmas time with your family?
No, I just watch it in general.
But okay, you watch it in general. But it is a movie that you do watch around Thanksgiving, Christmas time.
Look, I don't celebrate Christmas, so hogwash.
Why the fuck are you on this episode? What the fuck, Chris?
Because I still understand the season, which is why your boy Quinn is correcting this motherfucker. Because one, you said a Christmas movie. That implies the movie.
A movie that is not considered a Christmas movie.
Wait, it's a movie not considered a Christmas movie. That's a Christmas movie. Therefore, it has to involve Christmas or be around Christmas, touching Christmas. Say,
Goddamn,
hey,
Coming
the
to
word
America is around Christmas.
3 times. Say the word Christmas 3 times, 2 of which are the pun. One happens in the first 10 minutes of the motherfucking movie. It's about toys. Christmas, okay? So many action figures came from this. I own 2 of them.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
costumes. Everybody loves
obviously
that.
he chose a prompt that obviously he
Costumes.
chose a prompt that fits the prompt. I feel like I did as well.
I think he picked the better one of the 2.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. Even with him winning this category, I still win the episode.
Why do you say you're
There's
gonna do
multiple times last season where I was winning on points and he won the last prompt and we gave it to him.
Wait.
Which is trash.
You were the one who gave it to me those times, Leonard.
I
but
know, and I'm not giving it to you.
I understand you're not giving it to me, but I think your math might be wrong. You won pop culture. You won Holds Up. Gary Oldman, Wash. Stats, Batman. Why is this a Christmas movie? Batman. That's 2-2 by my count.
Ooh, hot take. Fireplace
So we got our first tie.
So I don't know if we got a tie. I think the tiebreaker goes to the guest.
Tiebreaker.
Y'all some hoes, man.
Snap
Y'all
it.
some hoes.
Bang across the back.
I already knew Chris was gonna give me an L. He just wants to give me L's. He doesn't know Quinn.
I didn't want to give you an
Yes,
L.
he
You
did.
gave yourself
He
an
came
L,
into
bro.
this wanting to give me an L.
No.
The L was predetermined
No.
This
before
is the
we
second
even
time.
started
These
this
two
podcast.
things, I was like,
We started the
bro.
podcast and Chris was
Chris-
like, Leonard already lost. Leonard already lost. It's over.
No, but what did I say before that? I said, if based off these picks, I even asked you. I was like, what is the prompt again? Because based off said prompt, Leonard, your movie don't win, cuz. It don't make no sense. And you lost all the other shit that ain't
It's all
got nothing
good.
to do with
Fuck
that.
both of you guys.
What? Fuck me. You
Fuck
Leonard,
both of you guys.
I think Chris has done a fantastic job. He's
you, sir.
been an impartial judge.
you, sir.
He's picked winners with his brain and he's talked through his answers.
He's a
We've all
shitty
heard.
elf.
it.
You picked right things. I said you picked right things.
I just also think, Leonard, you can't be mad at me. And
I should have
glad
gave
that-
you stats. I was being nice and gave you stats.
I'm glad that Chris is here. May
you
he
were
come
being
back
nice.
every
He
week.
won that.
May he come back every week. But
Higher
I'm just saying,
percentage,
you
more
picked
money.
Chris. He gave you a loss. You picked Rod. He gave you a loss as guests. And I'm glad we've had both of them on. Maybe if you're judging, you can't be this hard on the guests when you're putting up the guests. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck them niggas.
You have to be.
That's your problem.
You have to be a hospitable host. You have to be a hospitable host, Leonard. They came to their
It's
own.
okay. It's
independent
okay
decisions.
because you know what? I'm winning next week's fucking prompt. There's no question about it.
He's bitter
If I
because he
lose
lost.
next
He
week's
knows
prompt-
he's going to lose.
If I
again.
lose next week's prompt to Quinn,
he's going to.
I'm going to be upset.
Podcast.
I'm not upset about this one.
Do y'all say it?
You
ahead of
seem
time, or
upset.
we have to wait?
I honestly wanted to force Quinn to watch Coming to America, so it is what it is.
Thank you for doing. I'm glad that you did it. Even better
Bless
that.
up. That's a big bless up right there.
Also, Coming to America is like a heavy punch. Like I was like, damn, if we picked this movie for like a lot of other prompts for which it would have applied, I don't know what I would have put up against it. I mean, you heard Chris's reaction to me never having even seen it. Like, it's tough to waste Coming to America on Christmas movies and not get the W.
But I'm not gonna
to
lie to you. Before I watch a movie, I literally thought that scene where they're like engagement announcement scene or whatever, the house party where you valets, I thought that was a Christmas party. I thought there was a Christmas tree in the background. And then I watched it and I was like, oh shit, there's no Christmas tree. And I was just like, God damn it.
All right.
It feels like a fucking Christmas movie. You can't deny that.
Guess what? Guess what?
All right, hold on. The other one has more Christmas shit in it. But the other one has more Christmas shit in it, but does Coming to America not feel like a Christmas movie to you?
I can see watching on Christmas. It feels like it's set during the winter season. I'm not trying to like stall. I don't see it as a Christmas specific movie.
I
didn't say it
I will
feels like
say
a Christmas
that
movie.
I understand your argument of like watching it with a family at the holidays. I will give you that. But
And y'all just shat all over that argument,
No.
but it's okay.
Let's say
I'll give you that to be kind as a black man who understands what you're saying. Okay.
I think if you don't celebrate Christmas, you might still watch this around the holiday. Kind of like what Chris was saying. Like
Yeah.
it's the specific. Also, we didn't talk about the Soul Glow and that scene where they're at that holiday part or the party, and he's like,
just
"Come up here,
leave
Mister and
it,
Mrs.
leave
and grandmother," and then they all leave the spots on the couch. I laugh so hard.
That is so funny, bro.
Before
the heir to the
before
Jerry
COVID
Curl
ruined
fortune.
2020, I had it like predetermined back in like January, February that I was gonna be Randy Watson this Halloween, and it never got to come to fruition.
I think you got it in your pocket for
Oh,
next.
speaking of Halloween, since you just brought it up, why Osmosis Jones is so lit? Go watch it. The main bad guy, Thrax, aka Anthrax, played by Lawrence Fishburne, was going to be my Halloween costume.
Ah,
It's
damn.
great. But yeah, there you go.
Well, that's crazy. That I slided Osmosis Jones in front of Chris. I shouldn't have done that, and he made me lose. Next week,
I didn't make you lose. You made
the
yourself
prompt.
lose.
Ooh, the prompt. Probably the reason why I lose every episode is because I smoke weed before every episode. And then I get
So
lost.
you're well equipped.
The next week's prompt is the best stoner movie or our favorite stoner movie.
Come on.
Favorite stoner movie.
The odds are
there's-
ever in your favor.
there's
here.
so
Leonard,
many
if you don't win
choices.
this one, I don't. I
Leonard,
might
you're
have
not trying to win.
Here's the problem with this prompt for me is I have too many options. It's like I loved Half Baked. I love How High. I love
100%.
all the Cheech and Chongs. Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like
Based off of his lack of knowledge of black films, you should definitely do How High.
I know, but
And
then like
you didn't do Friday last
but-
time, so you could technically do
I know, that's what I'm
Chris, would
saying,
it blow
but I
your
just
mind if
feel
I told
like-
you I've seen How High?
whenever I
No,
choose
that
like
wouldn't.
the ultimate black film for the prompt, I never win except for like Life. But that was because he snuck in a fucking. No, it was Wedding Crashers. That was actually good.
Did y'all do Harlem Nights once?
We haven't
No.
done it.
You got
Just so we're all clear, Eddie Murphy's not in Osmosis Jones. We're all
It's
aware.
Chris Rock.
That's Chris
Oh,
Rock.
it's Chris
Yeah.
Rock.
And Bill, and I think Bill Murray plays like the body or
He
something,
plays
right?
the body they're
Yeah,
in, and then David Hyde Pierce from Frasier
correct.
is the pill.
And
yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne. All
I fuck
right,
with that movie very heavy.
we're
The mayor is just like Trump. He's ignoring all the problems that the body is going to shit and it's not put together, but he's trying to get the next term.
so that I think we'll just about wrap up all the points. We'll see you guys next week for our stoner episode. Merry Christmas to me.
Merry Christmas and
to
Happy
Chris.
New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Fuck both of you
to
guys.
Leonard, maybe.
Christmas is over. I can now go on
Do you want to
holiday. I'm
filibuster?
gonna go hit the links.
Do you want to filibuster on Batman Forever for a few
Yeah,
minutes?
you really got
Okay,
lost
so
in the
first of
forever
all,
there.
Batman
So you're just
Forever
talking out of your
is
ass.
fucking dark. It's fucking creepy.
Guess
it's
what?
fucking
Hey,
gloomy.
Leonard, guess what? That's not the movie y'all did. Anyway, thank you for
Oh,
having
wait,
me on the
oh, wait.
podcast. I really appreciate it.
I guess we'll see you at
Merry Christmas to all,
Workshop.
and see you at the cinema.
Happy Hanukkah, motherfucker.